Well, welcome to Modeling Time with me, Brian Banna. And in this video, I'm going to do a quick, update on where the RS11 is at. I'm still working on it. I had to do some design stuff all last week, and I'll go over that real quick here and wrap up this video. It won't be very long. All right, so I made the decision to go ahead and do the tread plate for the walkway deck. It took me about a week to get that done because I was trying to design it as possibly one piece. So here's the template for that to see if it works out. And I just couldn't get all of these notches, even though these notches and these notches are the same on both sides. I just couldn't get everything lined up. So I went to just a single piece like that, and then two end pieces like that. So the front end and the rear, or the front and the rear, they're not exactly the same. There's a little bit of difference in this section here from the end of the pilot, or the face of the pilot, to where the hood starts. There's a slight bit of difference there. So I had to adjust that so there is a front and a rear end. And then I had to do the battery boxes. So the way that I did those is, like for instance, where this has two places for the stanchions to go into, I measured and I made those placements, and then I just added a bit of tread plate to the front and back. That way I can line up these holes, or these notches, and then just trim the front and back. And the same for the single one. I can just line it up, trim the front and back. So that should work out okay. I was able to make sure, or I'm fairly confident, a high level of confidence, that these notches in this piece will line up really nicely with the deck. And actually what's going to happen is these two notches here are, let me get that over there, are those two notches there. So I'll end up probably trimming this long piece to match up to there, so I'll have some play in that. So the tread plate has been sent off. There is, tread plate pattern on the tops of these, of course. So that's been sent off to get the jobs done. So it's probably going to be maybe a month before I get that back. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is design the buffer plate for the pilots. So that's my task right now. Everything else is designed for the deck, so I just need the buffer plate. And once I get the tread plate back, and I'll scrape all of this pattern off, slice and scrape this pattern off here in the front. And once I get the tread plate back and put that on, then I can glue this deck to the frame and start putting all the details on it and get that done. But I need the tread plate first because there's some heavy handling that needs to be done, because once I put the glue down and the tread plate down, I need to pressurize it, because it's a pressure sensitive glue and stuff. So you really got to be able to manhandle these walkways to do that. And if I've got detail parts all over it, all I'm going to do is break off the detail parts. So I'm not going to do anything anymore to the deck until I get the tread plate back, but I can design the buffer plates, and the buffer plates will pretty much be the last of the parts that I have, to add to this. And then once the tread plate's on, I can just assemble everything. So I don't know if you've seen the what I've done here is I made a bridge plate. So this is the 3D printed bridge plates that fit in here. I used my mill, and I was able to craft a way to hold the sill unit in, so I could just skim off the details at the bottom and skim off the details at the top, leaving the parts that I wanted to leave. So I've got the holes drilled in and all that. So everything's done there. I made this little template for the plows. These will be the plows that I'm using. Donald Wells was kind enough to send me the file for these plows, so I'm going to be using these plows front and back. I like the little weed cutter plows. And I made this little tool here so that it just slips right over the bottom. It's got two tiny little holes, 20 thousandths holes in it, that I can mark and drill through and use those as pilot holes to center these pins for the plows. So once I get to doing the detail and stuff like that, I'll just slip that right over it, drill, done. There's no movement side to side, so I can't, it will be centered. The plow will be nice and centered. So that takes care of that. So I'm just in a waiting mode for the tread plate. Well, that's the update for the RS11. I'm still moving forward on stuff. It's just sometimes this design phase kind of slows things down a little bit. But once all the once all of the design phase is done on the first model, the rest of the models are just snap. I have all the parts. I'll have, everything that I needed to design is done, and I can just go to building the models. So thank you for watching, and as soon as I get the tread plate in, or maybe, basically as soon as I get the tread plate in, I'll start the next video. So that's going to be maybe 3 or 4 weeks time span between this video and the next video, and or maybe I'll do a little update in between if I get the buffer plate designed and get it on and show you that. So there might be an update in between, or maybe until I get the tread plate back. So again, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.